Good afternoon, everyone. I will be today teaching you about AWS Lambda functions. So, MindMajix is giving me opportunity to teach to the participants. So, let me introduce about myself. Graduated in National Institute of Technology, Warangal, having 3 years of experience in IT industry and specialized in AWS DevOps. I have specialized in AWS DevOps and I have been certified as AWS Solution Architect and AWS Developer Associate. So today the scope of demo, I will be explaining about why we use Lambda and then what is Lambda. Okay, first if you are very curious to know about why is Lambda, then you will come to know, you will have the curiosity to learn what is Lambda. So first I will be telling why we use Lambda. So in our AWS console, there are many AWS services. So under the compute section, there are EC2 instances and Lambda and then Elastic Beanstalk. So we in the previous sessions, we all have already discussed on EC2 instances, like we have the customizable hardware requirement. So we can, with the operating system, with any operating system, we can launch up EC2 instances. So that means you will be having your virtual machine on cloud, right? So we discussed a lot on difference between on-premises and as well as cloud, and why we should use virtual machine and why we should use physical hardwares as well, physical machine as well, like laptops. And so what will be the difference between those two? Now I'm going to tell you the AWS Lambda, the second one under compute section, and the third one under compute section is Elastic Beanstalk. So we will move to the AWS Lambda. So we can, in AWS, they say that there is a serverless architecture. We can also build a serverless architecture. So what is the meaning of it? Like if it is serverless architecture means like in our EC2 instance, we will be performing some of the actions. We should able to take care of everything, like some of the actions like patching or like if our system goes down or we need to enable CloudWatch logs and then all of this things kind of things. So we have to maintain. You are the responsible, but in the Lambda, so Lambda will take care of all these things. So it will monitor the CloudWatch logs and it will take care of all the rest of the things. So what you have to do is you just have to run the code in Lambda. Once you run the code in Lambda, the rest of the things Lambda will be taken. So before creating any function of the Lambda or like be any kind of thing, before doing some actions, you should also put Lambda role. So what is this Lambda role in the sense like these roles come under identity access management section. So if you ask what is identity access management, is means like it's giving access. Suppose you have your own AWS account which you have been created. So you want to give few services to your friend. So if you want to give few services, you can create an IAM user and you can attach a policy. Policy in the sense like it is a permission. So what kind of permission? Read, write permissions, or like what particular service and which access you want to give. Okay, there are predefined policies and there will as your custom policies. You can also create your own permission, like you can write in a JSON format and give the permission. So once the permission is attached to that user can accessible which permissions you have been given. Suppose you have given access to EC2 full access, then he can control all the EC2 functions. He can read, write all the sections of the EC2 instance. So he cannot accept EC2, he cannot access anything. He cannot access VPC, he cannot access S3, he cannot access some other services, only EC2. So depending on your access given, the user can, I mean like your friend or someone, the user, which user you want to give, which user you create, he can handle it. Okay, that is about the IAM. So IAM role in the sense like so if you're giving Lambda IAM role and giving permission, so Lambda will be only taking care of the role which you have been given. Okay, if you have to given the role is like hey, this can have anything to do with AWS EC2. You can have anything to do with VPC. So those kind of permissions. So you will only have, still you are making a security layer here. So you are only giving Lambda to only operate some few services. It's not like all the services in the AWS account. Okay, so that is what it will go like. You should compulsory before going to execute Lambda function, you should make sure you attach your Lambda IAM role, okay, or Lambda role. So that is the basic kind of thing. So I think you have understood why we use AWS Lambda, and then what is Lambda means. It is a AWS service. It is one of the service in AWS. You can also make serverless architecture programs in it. This is the course outline I'm going to teach you today about the Lambda concepts, Lambda features, and Lambda programming model, Lambda instruction set architectures, VPC networking with for Lambda. So you know about the VPC, right? So VPC is nothing but virtual private cloud. So in VPC we have different kind of subnets. Okay, we have a lot of subnets in VPC, and under the subnets we will be attaching the internet gateway, and we will also enable the access control list, and these all things will come under the networking part, right? So now next I will also going to tell Lambda function scaling. Okay, how do you scale? You use EC to auto scaling, right? Like that we also have Lambda function scaling as well, and then Lambda deployment packages, Lambda console, using Lambda with AWS CLI. So here we are talking using Lambda with AWS CLI. So generally there are three ways of deploying your services in AWS. One way is for by deploying your services through console, and the second way is through deploy your services through CloudFormation, and the third way is deploying your services through AWS CLI, means command line interface. So using Lambda with AWS CLI, I am also going to teach. So now let's go to the some of the concepts of AWS Lambda. So I will be teaching you. So you can here you see the topics of Lambda. So let's move into the Lambda concept. So here, this Lambda runs instances of your function to process the events. So in here, Lambda, we have many events. Okay, you have to create an event. So you can invoke your function directly using Lambda API. So here we are getting API concepts. What is API here? So you just API means what is application programming interface. That means so the user interface in the sense like which you see on the screen, like the suppose say you have some Facebook. So while you click on something, some operation is executing, right? So like that, if you are clicking, if the end user is clicking on the any kind of UI interface, anywhere, if we click on the user interface, some action is going to be performed. So how the action is going to perform the API. So when you click on that, the API is going to that particular API is hitting the API gateway, and from API gateway we are getting the response. So here we also send our API, which the user request will also go to API through API gateway, and then through it will also go through first it will go to Lambda, and then API gateway, and then we get the response as well. So this is the model. Actually, this is the basic model. How in between why we use Lambda, I'm going to tell you. Okay. So these are the concepts like function, trigger, event. Before knowing about more about AWS concept, you should know all these concepts. What is AWS function and trigger? Trigger in the sense like it will hit. Just now I told you, no, the I mean like the user API hitting the Lambda. So Lambda will trigger. Okay, trigger in the sense like it will take and it will trigger to some other I mean like API gateway. Okay, so and then execution environment, instruction set architecture, deployment tab, package runtime, layer, extension, concurrence, and qualifier, destination. I will be going to explain all these concepts. Okay, this concept in more deep. So if you talk, see there is an explanation between all those things of the concept. Let's see that function. A function is a resource that you can invoke to your code in Lambda. A function has code to process the events that pass into the function or that other AWS service sent to the function. So what do you mean by this? He's saying that a function is a resource that you invoke your run a code or a Lambda. So a function is nothing but where you can run the code. Okay, that is the function. So in the function, you have the events that you pass into the function. So you can pass some of the events into the function. Okay, that is about the function. So let's go more on the trigger. Trigger means I just told you. Trigger is a resource or configuration that invokes Lambda function. Okay, trigger includes the AWS services that you can configure to invoke the function. Event resource mapping. Okay, so once the trigger is included in the AWS services means EC2 instance, VPC, all these things. So the trigger will include the AWS services that you can configure to invoke a function. Okay, that is what about the trigger. So there are much detailed concepts on events as well. I mean, like the event in the sense like the Lambda code, you will create an function, right? So in that you will be giving passing a code, right? So this is a piece of code in the event in the sense like what one operation is doing. It is an event is a JSON formatted document that contains data for a Lambda function to process. So before processing, Lambda should receive some data, right? It should perform and it should do some action, right? So it needed data. So this is the event. That's what in the piece of code on the Lambda code we include the JSON formatted event. Okay, the runtime converts event to object and then passes it into your function code. Okay, what it does is the runtime converts the event. So runtime, what do you mean by runtime? Runtime means like just say that you have run the Lambda code. Just you have clicked on the run Lambda code. So the time like after running you should get a response, right? The Lambda should perform some action, right? So how much time it is performing. Let us say I have been create a S3 bucket. I have write some code and create S3 bucket and upload this file. I have given through code I have written this. I have to run this, right? If run, I should get the result, right? That runtime, how much time it's going to run is called the runtime. So the runtime converts the event, okay, event to an object and passes it to your function code. Okay, that is what about the event. And so see, you can see the examples here, custom event and Amazon SNS notification, like what the message. It can also send you the through Lambda, you can also send SMS, I mean, notification to particular subscribers. Okay, so you should, before you should also create SNS. That is another topic we're telling you as that one as well. So now let us get started with how we can like use this Lambda. Okay, so let's start how we create a Lambda at first. That would be good for the user as well. So just a second, creating a in console. So first we see that we make sure that we create Lambda function through console so that you can understand better on the operation. Then later you can try it on CloudFormation and CLI. Okay, so see, for creating Lambda function with console. Okay, see, create, you can create Node.js. So not only Node.js, Lambda supports Ruby, Python, and some other programming languages as well. So I am comfort with the Node.js, so I am telling on Node.js. It depends on the participant which they want to write the code on Lambda. So you can create Node.js Lambda function using Lambda console, and while going to the console itself, you have it, and Lambda automatically creates a default code for the function. Okay, it will default code, it already predefined code is there in the Lambda. See, now there are steps to be how we create a Lambda function. Open the function page. I mean, like first you have to log in. You should create an AWS account, and then after creating of AWS account, you have different services in it, and go for Lambda in the search button. You go for Lambda, click on it, and then there you have choose create function. Okay, you can choose. I will show you in the, no, I don't have access for AWS, but in the coming sessions I will be detailedly opening all the AWS console and then you in the practical way. You'll go to choose create function. Under basic information, do the following. Okay, for function name you will give as my function or anything, any name which you want to give. And for runtime, so you should able to also keep the runtime, confirm that node which language you are going to select, right? You'll write a Lambda code in Node.js or Ruby or Python or some other language. Okay, Node.js, because I selected Node.js 14. It's the latest version of the programming language. Okay, and note that Lambda provides runtime for .NET, and also you should make sure that the selected language should have the runtimes of it have the runtime that should provide runtime like with .NET or Java, Node.js, all these things. You just check it. Okay, choose a create function. Finally, you choose a create function after giving all these parameters. So Lambda creates a Node.js function and execution role. So execution role here in the sense like I talked before itself, right? Lambda AM role I talked about, right? That role, and I told now, that grants the function permissions to upload the logs. So whatever Lambda should do, you should give certain permissions, not you Lambda can do anything, not enabled by default. Different services, they have, each service has permissions to do with all the services. Okay, one service have permissions to do with all, but in the real time project we should keep a conditions. So Lambda should only access which you want to do with Lambda, those permissions only you have to give. That is a secured way. So Lambda creates a Node.js function and execution role that grants a function to upload the log, CloudWatch logs. I have told you, right? The Lambda function assumes the execution role when you invoke your function. When you invoke your function, it will take that role. In the role, it will check what are the permissions are there, whether I should trigger that or not. Whether in that permissions all are there. Okay, if I say trigger S3 and get read the data in the S3 bucket, it should able to, you should read permissions to S3. So in the IAM Lambda IAM role permission, you should do read 3 policy. Okay, then only you can, this Lambda is going to execute. Okay, and when you invoke and uses the execution role to create credentials for the AWS SDK. So I will tell you about AWS SDK. AWS SDK is a set of piece of code, piece of actions. You can say piece of actions, piece of code. What the actions can do, you can directly take from the SDK. You don't need to create by your own as well. Okay, so let me try to go to the AWS SDK console as well. Now I will be showing you that how that looks as well. AWS SDK. See, there are the suggestions coming for a lot of things, right? JavaScript, Node.js. I just see it supports all the languages, Node.js and all those things. So let me go to Node.js. So here you can see in the tools to build on AWS Lambda. Okay, so these are the languages told you, right? You can do Lambda with C++, Go, Java, JavaScript, .NET, Node.js, PHP, Python, Ruby. Okay, let's go to Node.js section and let's go AWS SDK for Node.js. Is there, right? In the build applications, click on it. So this is the AWS SDK. Okay, for JavaScript, that means Node.js. Get started with that. So you can just go through that console as well. So here it is what it looks like. Okay, there are many operations you can do with the SDK. It did Lambda concepts, Lambda features, programming model, and VPC networking for Lambda. So you should also make sure in your private network, Lambda is in your private network. It is not in the public. Okay, you should enable subnets to that. So make sure that your infrastructure is in a private cloud, so that no one can access your database. I mean, like your web application data should not be accessed, should be private, but your domain should be public, so that the end users can easily access it. Okay, so now let's go to the concept. So we created Lambda function. There are step by step. I will also make you to go through real-time console and then tell you all those things as well. And so let's get back to the other kind of things. So let's go to Lambda features now. So Lambda provides a management console and API for the managing and invoking function. It provides the runtime that supports the standard sets features, so that we can easily switch between the languages and framework. So here, what do you mean by framework? Okay, what do you mean by frameworks? Frameworks, in the sense like it is belongs to the programming language. The developers will make a frameworks when they create a function. When they create a code, they will also make the frameworks. Okay, so depending on your needs, you in addition to the functions, you can also create versions, alias, layers, and custom runtime. Custom runtimes means you should give the runtime when you create Lambda function and then run the code. So how long the, like you should able to give that as well, right? You should tell that you are running the lambda. Suppose if you are running for 2 minutes, you should set for 2 minutes. So after 2 minutes, only the lambda runs for 2 minutes only. That is the custom runtime, and you will also be charged for only runtime. Okay, let us say in your EC2 instance, you have in your web application, you have used for 30 days. Okay, in instance is running for 30 days, but it is not useful for you. Web application is not useful, but you have run the EC2 instance, but you will be costed for runtime. So it is 30 days. For 30 days, hourly cost will be costed. But here in the Lambda, if you create a function, nothing will be costed, only on runtime. How? Just one click, you click only for that seconds, you will get the cost. It will be very low compared to EC2 instance. This is cost effective. Okay, that is what it is. Serverless, you call Lambda is serverless. Okay, you can make serverless to Lambda. So these are the some of the features we have: scaling, concurrence control, asynchronous invocation, event source mapping, destination, function flow, testing, and deployment tools. Okay, these are the some of the concepts now I'm going to teach you. Okay, I'll be going more into the course outline. So I think I already covered the topics, why we use AWS Lambda and what is Lambda function. So these are the topics also we have went through course outline. We have discussed on this as well. And now add-on topics. So Lambda work with IAM role. I told you, right? So you have to basically you should create an IAM role, execution role, and Cost Explorer in AWS system. So what do you use Cost Explorer in the sense like through Lambda, or you can not only Cost Explorer, many kind of actions from the SDK you can run through in the Lambda. So cost explorer in the sense like suppose your organization have too many AWS accounts. Okay, so let's say you have primary account. You are the CEO of the company. This is your primary AWS account for your company. So under other teams also using the same account, AWS organizational account. Okay, it is primary organizational AWS account. Okay, in that you have many teams, right? So you will get access from those organizational account only, right? For development team, for tools team, for testing team, you will be getting to from organization. So the CEO should be responsible. He should able to know that which I mean the how much is costed for the different teams as service wise cost and resource wise cost as well. Okay, to check on that and to check on that graph how. So the obviously CEO will not check. The technical manager will be taking care of it. He will explain to the CEO like this is our organization. So in our organization there are different teams. So it is costing, each team is costing this much amount of cost for their services. You know that AWS services are paid once, right? So the complete cost information, if you want to get it, you can run the Lambda function, and you will be getting a data through JSON format in the CloudWatch logs. And then from there, you can take any analytic tool, business intelligence tool like Power BI or any other thing, and then create the reports. So in the report, you can able to say, hey, this team cost, this team is using more S3 bucket, so it is using it costed for this much. All the details of analytical data, how much it is costing from so the primary organization account, it is divided into sub account because we created more IAM users and more IAM accounts, right, for each development team, testing team, all those things. So that is what it works like. Okay, so Cost Explorer is able to tell you the cost of service level wise and resource. What do you mean by service? Service means in AWS there are many services, S3, VPC. Resource means in the AWS S3 service there are many S3 buckets. So each bucket, each S3 bucket is called ARN, Amazon Resource Number. Each bucket has their own. These are the resources. Service means S3, VPC, EC2. What do you mean by resource means? S3 buckets are there. Many buckets are, many EC2 instances are there. Many VPCs are there. VPCs are there in the account. So each VPC, each EC2, each S3 has their own ARN, Amazon resource number. So even though that wise cost also you will be getting. Hey, in this account, this team has used S3. Under this S3, they used these many buckets are costing this much. So see advanced filters of you can check in through the cost explorer. Okay, these are the topics. If there is a time given, the user, if the participant is understanding well, then I will also add on these topics, so that he depends on the time actually. So and then later the projects which I have, real time projects, I will be explaining them. AWS Lambda working with nodes and AWS Lambda function handler in Node.js. These topics I will be going in deep as well. So lab setup, in the sense like you have to, the participant should be having high speed internet and good laptop, so that there will be no disturbance be coming when we are teaching, or like like without breakings. The internet speed should be very good, right? So this is about the lab setup. So additional course resources, I will be giving documents or videos which are available on my database. So those will be very helpful, even if you want to, when you are allocated to any project, you can also check through those videos, and you can go further as well. It will be helpful to refer. Okay. So mock interviews also will be conducted after completion of course. We conduct mock interviews to the participants. So who wants to evaluate themselves before applying job, you can just test. The participant can check himself, like how much I have been, how much I am able to learn. Like he can test himself. Okay. So thank you for attending the demo. Please share your feedback and contact for queries related to course scope, schedule, references, cost, and payment option. For any queries, you can go to info@mindmajix.com. India 924-633-3245. If USA 917-456-8403. Thank you so much.